Modeling, even to this day, is this whole top secret. It's like, how do I actually get into this? This is exactly how I went from being an aspiring model to somebody that is now a recognized name and face in the modeling industry. My career humbly, respectfully blew up. I've since booked 50 plus global worldwide brands. I made $20,000 my first month. My first 8 months as a signed model, I made $100,000. Models make the big bucks. I even got like my first billboard within like the first couple of months there. When I was an aspiring model, I used to watch top models from Instagram, seeing them land major bookings, growing as a model, growing their platforms, and really wishing that I had success like them, and dreaming about it and wishing that I had one of them to hold my hand, show me how to get in. I would watch YouTube videos. I would invest money into some, content and things that they would sell. And it was never the actual answers that I actually needed. So it was a waste of time until I made a major shift and changed my strategy. And finally landing a contract after 2 years of nothing. I was getting responses back to back to back, landing meetings with all of my dream agencies. But that would not have happened without what I'm about to tell you. Nobody with my experience is putting aspiring models onto everything that I know. There is a strategy here, but what's keeping most girls from getting signed is, hey y'all, it's your girl Jessi Melani. One day I shaved off my whole head without planning it. And I didn't know that that was literally going to be one of the first turning points that changed my life for forever. Once I went viral for looking like Amber Rose for Halloween, I just really kept posting consistently to keep people interested because my phone was nonstop blowing up for 48 hours. It was just like all the notifications were coming in. I had finally broken up with my narcissistic ex-boyfriend. And one night after Christmas, I was bawling my eyes out, and I had this spiritual awakening a few days later, just in time for the new year. It's 2017, and I'm like, you know what? I need to love myself. I need to choose myself and never ever go back to this relationship that I am constantly in these cycles of running back to. So I watched the movie The Secret, found a couple of books, began meditating, doing affirmations. And I didn't know that I was manifesting. Back then in 2017, people weren't talking about these things. So I was truly part of the 1% that learned the power of creating your reality. I was 19 and in such alignment and in flow in my life that modeling ended up finding me. But that's not even where my story ends, and it's only the beginning. So one day I open my DMs and I have what feels like this magical message in my inbox. I didn't know this guy at the time, but now he's a good friend of mine, Photo Dom, and he messaged me, have you ever thought about modeling? You got mad potential. And I was like, you're so sweet. I think about it every day. Now that's the part that I don't really remember so much. I don't remember thinking about modeling every day. He said, like, really? Well, let's fix that. I have a boutique that I'm working with that needs a plus size model, and you'd be absolutely perfect. Now this just sounded like a whole dream come true. So I told him, I was like, oh my gosh, yes, I'd love to. I mean, I always felt like I could make it in the spotlight, but I feel like I need a manager or somebody to help me out. And even using the word manager just shows how much I did not know anything about modeling. This guy's a photographer. He's local. He also lives in Palm Beach in South Florida. And after like making the plans with him and everything, I was like, I feel like you were an angel sent. And I just shared like my schedule working at the preschool because this was something that I began to do on the weekends. So that message changed everything, but it definitely did not solve my problems overnight. It did not mean that, oh, now I've just made it. I didn't have any sort of practice for this photo shoot that Dom was bringing me onto. I have just spent my whole life in the mirror, admiring my reflection. The only real experience I had was just knowing my body, but also having my spiritual awakening meant loving myself, falling in love with myself, accepting every part of me, gazing at my eyes in the mirror, talking head to toe about the things I love about myself and my body. Like, that inner work is so essential. I was just radiating a lot of confidence. I've always had a lot of confidence. Shelly is very well known here in Palm Beach, in West Palm, especially. That's where she had her boutique, the Bombshell Boutique. And I just realized from that first shoot, I'm like, I'm a natural at this. Like, I'm totally made for this. Don't hear that and be like, oh, you see, she had the guy reach out to her and then this opportunity. Oh, she didn't take posing classes. She was confident her first shoot. girl. There was still so much growth for me to have, and I did not have all of the answers just because of these things. There's still so much more to my strategy that I've got to get to. So as soon as I saw that this was my passion and this is something that I'm actually really good at, I wanted to do it even more. I'm getting content simultaneously. It's this exchange. I wasn't getting paid. She's a small, independent business. So Dom and I started collaborating a lot on photo shoots with the Bombshell Boutique, and we just kind of go around this area called Northwood in Palm Beach and get really beautiful pictures. These shots were amazing. It was such a collaborative, is that a word, effort between Shelly's pieces, Dom's, photo skills, and just also my confidence, my presence. It sold whatever the heck I was wearing. And so I became Shelly's model, and we built this relationship. We grew this relationship, and same with Dom. Like, Dom and I would get together, we would collaborate a lot. Then came Ainka's Accessories, so by Lamara, who does not sell that anymore, but she is a stylist, so definitely check her out. But she and Shelly started to collaborate together by working in the same shop, the same space. And now we have all of these beautiful clothes, and now we have accessories as well. So now I'm being able to broaden my my skills, my technique, by learning how to pose with jewelry and accessories, hats and sunglasses, in addition to clothes. So I would bring my own model bag, my shoes, I do my own makeup, I always colored my hair myself. That's actually my most watched video on my channel. That's like been my look. Now that Dom was the initiator for all of this, I took that and I ran with it. I have so much gratitude for Dom. Dom will always have a special place in my heart, and he knows that. I have no idea where I would be if it weren't for Dom. My page was growing, I'm getting all of this experience, and I'm not saying I'm an aspiring model, I'm just saying I am a model. Like, I took that shit out my bio because I'm like, everything that I'm doing is what a model does. So it was more like a mindset shift that I just kind of like shifted and stepped into. So because I have this presence, and Shelly is very well known in Palm Beach, I'm starting to get, a lot of people are starting to recognize me now from working with Shelly at the Bombshell Boutique, especially like on Facebook at this time. Like, her platform is still really big, and it was really cool to become a well-known face in my hometown and getting recognized, being out and about, and it just started to make the modeling dream even more and more of a reality for me. I started to collaborate with local creatives, local photographers and stylists, and just regularly doing photo shoots, like all the time, always reaching out, always looking for new creatives to get together with. And I've worked with some incredible people. Dom and I did our first photo shoot together, and it was just so risque. And I remember when we were working with Shelly and Lamara, it was a little bit of an issue. I say this with love. They already know this. Their following was a little bit more of, more modest, religious, grown women. When they kind of challenged me with the idea of like, are you sure about these types of pictures that you're putting out? You're our model, we're tagging you. Maybe we should not, all of this stuff. Having this conversation be brought up in the presence of Dom, who Dom has always just captured women so beautifully. I felt so comfortable working with Dom. If you can't see these pictures here, you can see them on my Instagram page if you kind of scroll down. I felt so comfortable and empowered on my first photo shoot with Dom. Like, I was just radiating like, this is what it feels like when I'm in control, when I get to pick the concept instead of working for somebody else, being in their clothes, doing their ideas, shooting what they want. This was the first time I got to collaborate my ideas with somebody who I really respected and felt comfortable with. When that got brought up, I had even more of a passion for body positivity. And I found that I had this love for challenging societal norms and being what people say women should not be. Women should be this and shouldn't be that, and are not respected if they don't, carry themselves this way. And I demanded that respect no matter what I looked like, no matter how I was dressed, no matter how I was posed. I'm the third born, and I'm a very free spirit, rebellious. I don't like rules. I just feel like all of that, like who I am and who I was, really came through when it came to like posing and content and having the control of my page. A lot of women who at one point, sadly, unfortunately, lost control in certain situations, a lot of those women have now reclaimed their power, being the one that's like, no, I want to do this. This is for other women, because we go through a lot with our bodies and all of the changes and the weight gain and the weight loss. We need examples that it's okay to love and accept and embrace these parts of ourselves, but also to know like the realest part is struggling with that, sometimes struggling to love and accept and embrace these things. And so that was my message. Like, I was a huge part of the body positive movement back in like 2017-18, when I started to be very loud and take up space in that community, and the impact that it created was so rewarding. From there, I was able to create a brand for myself. Jessi Melani is this hair, is this big smile, self-love and acceptance, raw vulnerability, truth-telling, storytelling, just being really unique and dope in my own way. So a lot of that became the inspiration for my next photo shoots whenever I would collaborate with other people. Really creating a name for myself locally and getting the reps in, getting my content out there, building a brand for myself, posting consistently, getting shoots consistently, trying to be a part of this creative scene as well, going out there and networking, which I know, like, I hear that word now and I'm just like, ain't nobody trying to, network and do all of it. Networking can feel so exhausting, but I just feel like as a new model who has all of these goals and dreams, like, it's something that was so exciting for me. And I hope that it's exciting for you as well to literally go out. There's times where I went by myself. There's a collective of creatives in South Florida, and it's called Flavas in Palm Beach. And they even did a event in New York. I was so sad I didn't get to go. Going to like, the scene and like things like that was a huge part in getting to know new people, besides people, especially when you're in your hometown and you have graduated. I just became real solo dolo. So it was a beautiful way for me to create new relationships, new connections, and meet up with other people and that have the same goals and dreams as me. Like, my mind was just so powerful in this era, and I can't stress that enough. Like, I call what I've created the model mindset for a reason, because the mind is your greatest power and strategy when it comes to cultivating everything into your life that it is that you want and dream for yourself. So I took it upon myself to just do the outreach myself and to reach out to people and to submit to agencies, online forums, and it still wasn't working. I wasn't getting anywhere. I got through though with Good American, who had their casting call, thinking like, okay, this is my way in. This is going to be my big break. I've been modeling for a little while now, but unfortunately I did not get chosen. I didn't get picked, but that was okay, because I'm telling you, timing is everything. I just went right back to continuing to like work. So not only was I growing my portfolio and my social media presence, I was also gaining experience by putting myself out there when it came to local brands. You know that there are so many boutiques that are very popular. There's also a lot of designers, a lot of stylists who are always looking to work with models. And it's really important that when you want to get signed, you're gaining that experience. So you can see so far how immersed I am into the world of modeling. So I was, not only am I reaching out to photographers, but I'm also reaching out to local boutiques that have a presence to them. It's not just anything in some sort of like anything that's, I'm gonna say with love, low quality, but it's of quality. If you see these images, like especially like back in 2017, things evolve in time, and you have to make sure that you are evolving with the times. But what looked great in 2017 does not necessarily look great like it's in 2025. So with my outreach, I got to work with Chic Couture, I got to work with J'adore Fancy, both a few times, and that really gave me some incredible like pictures and only grew my name more as well, especially with Chic Couture. The types of photos that they're taking are beautiful. I got to meet another model who was also getting paid extremely well, only showing me more proof that the reality that I want is absolutely possible. My whole family, they love to tell the story of when I was just starting modeling. It was me, Midnight, and my tripod. Midnight was the name of my car, my Honda Civic. And I used to pack up my car with like 4, 5, 6 looks and just shoot around Palm Beach wherever I could, wherever I felt comfortable. Really early in the morning, it's quiet. I would just get my content by all means. They didn't call me content queen for nothing, okay? Even through like getting signed and being on set, everybody knows Jessi's going to get her content, because it is a huge part in being a model. People would watch, slow down, and look and stare and all that stuff. Tunnel vision, baby. You're never gonna see them again. You need to get your content by all means. And you don't need much, just a clean, simple background, not something that's messy and a lot's happening. And eventually I got to a point where I started making friends online. So now I'm growing my platform. My page is growing. I'm also getting collaborations because I'm doing outreach to brands as well during this time. Like, your girl is on it. Do you see? Like, I had that hunger. I had that hustle. I had that je ne sais quoi. I had that it factor. That's what made me stand out, is by taking the initiative constantly, but having an eye for how these things look, making sure my page looks beautiful, my pictures are beautiful, my makeup, my hair, my look. Always give elevation. Elevated, current, new, unique, evolved, leveled up. Always there's levels to this shit. So I'm also getting paid, a little bit of money, $200 here, $200 there. I would get boxes and boxes of shoes and clothes from Fashion Nova, from Lola Shoutique. They sent me so much stuff. So I started off working with what it was that I had. I was making shit work with my closet. I did not start getting brand deals and getting on PR lists where things are being sent to me regularly. I was taking what was in my closet and I was just using it. I had to. There's so many things to my story that, I'm trying to tell you all in this one take. There's so much like frustrations that I had throughout this journey. There was still a lot that I just felt so lost with. And it got to a point where I was like, just always sending emails, emails, and still nothing. What else do I gotta do? I'm taking the pictures, I'm taking the content, I'm doing the outreach, I'm not getting responses, I'm getting collaborations, but it's not as much money as I want to make. I'm shooting with these boutiques that are local, but it's not as much money as I want to make either. Like, I want the big brands, I want the big agencies, I want the big bucks. Like, what's it gonna take? So I'm like, you know what? Maybe I just need to become a flight attendant. My dad's an airline pilot, and my family is a family of travel. And I got an interview with Delta Airlines. That's where my dad was flying for years. And I was like, and I could totally make my modeling dreams happen still. Like, I was hoping I'll get a base in LA or a base in New York and somehow make it work. I didn't tell him I didn't want any connections. I had to cover up my tattoos, which started to show by the end of the day. I looked the best, okay? Everybody's in like khaki and blue, bitch, I look like a model. Like, I looked so freaking good. I looked like a flight attendant. I got so many compliments, but baby, I was not good at being a little flight attendant, and I did not get that job. But what I will say is I got a sign and a message that I basically had two options. It was inevitably up to me. I could take the path of being a flight attendant. The other path option that was laid out for me was to trust in my modeling career, because, my angel guides, they're like, you're made for this. You can absolutely do this. We see this happening for you. So it's really up to you what comes about of this. You just have to stick to that path. You're here to empower women. Like, I'm growing my platform, and my platform and my page is all about women empowerment, inspiring women to love their body, take up space, speak their truth, have a voice. I just had to commit to that and show the universe that this is the path that I want. I also just decided too, I'm like, I'm just going to love myself radically. Like, I had been on my self-love path, but in 2018 there was a lot of things that I went through in my personal life, a lot of changes and ups and downs. I was like, I'm gonna just love myself. I know I'm going to make modeling happening. I have to make this happen. I'm not gonna sit back and take these no's. If I have to pull up on these people and go to their agencies, go to New York, go to LA, something, I'm gonna do that. My Instagram page, I had it very assorted in a certain way, and my pictures were clean. My proof was there. I've worked with these brands. I've got collabs. I've got experience. I have beautiful photos from photo shoots. I've been on set. I've got behind the scenes footage even. Like, I have a brand, a presence, a platform. I'm growing this name for myself, you know? And I'm like, this is my time. And so I sent out some emails and I finally heard back. I got in contact with an agent at Natural Models LA. This is like my dream agency. You know, these girls that I've been watching for so long and booking the things I want to book are signed there. And I'm like, bro, I was shook. I was like, hold on. I also then next day, a response from Milk Model Management in London in the UK, my next dream agency. Got a response from Jag Models NYC New York, my third dream agency, the 3 agencies that I wanted to be signed to. It was not a coincidence that this inner shift and this change in my strategy and change in my approach as well was the turning point. Of course it happened. All of my manifesting, I am so powerful and you are so powerful too. We're all powerful. I landed these meetings. I'm on video calls there. I'm back in it. I'm exchanging emails with these top agents at these agencies. And I'm just like, it's literally happening. And literally almost makes me emotional thinking about it. And I have so many video diaries from this time too. I have to write about this. Jag Models wrote me back today. Natural Models LA changed our FaceTime interview or whatever you want to call it to tomorrow. And then Milk Models Management said that we're gonna have a Skype interview tomorrow. Oh my god. And so I have 4 agencies that are interested in me: Germany, United Kingdom, Los Angeles, and New York. And then I have Good American that got me for the callbacks. I gotta write about this. Oh, Dare to Dream. Oh, I usually take this down at night, but it's upside down. It says do more of what makes you happy. Oh my god, everything is just aligning so beautifully, so perfectly. And look at my vision board. If y'all know how much I went through in my life, like, but also like before this awakening and what I went through like in my senior year in high school and with this toxic, abusive ex-boyfriend, this narcissist, how this guy changed my life. You know, I ran away from home, you know, one time, whole family thing with that. And went through some very unfortunate situations with my power being taken away from me and fighting for a chance to get signed, wanting this for myself, struggles with my self-love, struggles with my body, all of these things like that we go through. Everybody has a story. You have a story. You have one hell of a story. I have a story too. And I don't mean to trauma dump, but to have gone through all of that, to then get these emails going, these meetings set up, and you know, then finally like getting an email driving one day to go and take content, and then them saying like, hey Jessi, like the team loves you, we think you have a lot of potential. I pulled over, baby, and I cried my little heart out. Do you want to see me crying? And I mean, don't get any secondhand embarrassment. Please have grace for little, how old was I? 22-year-old me. I just got an email from Natural Models LA, and they said that they're gonna sign me to become one of their models, and it's like my dream agency, and this is just everything I've ever wanted. And I just pulled to the side and I got the email and I called my mom and I just pulled over. I'm about to go shoot, that's why I'm dressed up. And then the number 29 is on a mailbox like right in front of me. Just my grandpa's with me. I've worked so hard for this. I can't wait to be on billboards and in stores and pictures of me and oh my god, commercials, like wow. And just like that, I was finally in. But I was not in because I sat around and I waited to be picked. I didn't wait to be scouted. I didn't wait for somebody to give me the answers. I didn't wait for somebody to give me permission. I had a nudge from Dom, who came in like an angel. Hey, you have potential. You want to shoot? Let's shoot. I showed up on time. embodying what I wanted to be. I've done the inner work. I loved myself. I had grace for myself. This is new. We don't know what we're doing, but let's just do our best. I got some advice. I invested into some advice. It was not what I needed. I had the drive and the hunger and the passion and the determination to make it happen. It was not a matter of if, it was a matter of when. The work that I've done, all of the journaling, the manifesting, the creating, the acting like I was already there, those shifts in combination with my strategic action made it happen. I went from being a girl that studied other models to figure out how they became so successful to being a model that aspiring models study to figure out how to be successful. So I turned modeling into my career. It was not a side hustle. It was not a side dream. Like, it became my full-time job. It just was so rewarding that people saw all of that. They saw the growth and the journey to the top. Like, it wasn't just some overnight sort of success, right? Even though it would look like it and seem like it. 2 years relatively is not that long of a time to have no experience with modeling to making six figures like in less than a month and seeing your face blown up everywhere. Like, my career humbly, respectfully blew up. I've since booked 50 plus global, worldwide brands that we all know and love, and I'm so grateful for Natural Models LA. I always will be. But I embody it girl energy. I have an it factor. There is a presence and a confidence to me and who it is that I am, and my unique look, my platinum blonde shaved head, always being this happy, bubbly, big personality, this smiley girl, confident. So when I finally got signed, there was a period of time where I was just waiting around for work. I was so lost at this time. Modeling was paying the bills and then some. I now can send money to my mom and pay for this and pay for that and send money to my family and my cousins and help my brother and all of these things. Buy my sister her dream Gucci purse. Like, I was able to live a life of luxury like I've always dreamed of. I went from a Honda Civic to a Range Rover. Like, that is a major leap and jump. I went from a studio apartment to a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom, 2-balcony apartment. Like, the leaps were insane. But having financial freedom and success and being able to make such a great income for yourself at such a young age. Like, I'm 22, 23, 24, 25, 26 at this time, and it's just very rewarding. It took a team. It took having a very top, reputable, major agency get me these opportunities and align with those opportunities. And it was also because I showed how serious I was about this to my agents and to my agency. I owned my power and I became the dream version of myself that I used to want to be in the past. Now, I could have cut that time down a lot with given everything that I know now. There's a clear formula, clear as day. I've got so much insight with so many years of experience that I am so fulfilled and happy to help girls like you make this a reality just as much as I wanted to make it a reality. But what's keeping most girls from getting signed is by taking no action. And maybe you feel like you're doing everything and it's still not getting you anywhere. The point in working with me is to make yourself an obvious yes. You invest in yourself with me, you save so much time, you save so much energy, because this is not BS. This is not bullshit advice. This is full immersion into industry insights. The point is to cut time down by learning everything that you can up front. You only get one first impression, and you want to make sure you're giving a damn good first impression, because who knows if you'll even be reconsidered, because you can be applying all of these things and thinking you're doing everything right and learn all of the strategies, but then still be missing the mark. You can totally walk this path with me where I am your guide. I show you the way. I want to help the girls who are not waiting to be picked. I am so happy that I've created the Model Mindset and the Model Mindset course, the Model Mindset's one-to-one coaching, the audits, my email list, my free guides. So definitely check that out down below. I don't know anybody with my experience that's teaching what I'm teaching, and not to the level and to the degree in which I am offering support. This is beyond modeling tips. This is a whole transformation. You are embodying the woman that it is that you're here and meant to become. So when I finally got signed, there was a period of time where I was just waiting around for work. I was so lost at this time. Like I said, you can land a contract, but that does not guarantee anything. I used to think that once you got signed, it was it. You just had an agency and all these opportunities were just going to fall into your lap so effortlessly and easily, but that is not the case at all. When you are a signed model, there is still a strategic strategy. Your agency is not there to just do all of the work. You have to also do the work. And just like being an aspiring model, you could be doing the work, but it still not be the right work that gets you the outcomes that you want, like your dream clients and growing as a model. I was so lost at this time. I remember my agents wanted me to do a photo shoot, and my mom and I spent so many hours and spent a lot of money, like going to all sorts of stores and buying a bunch of stuff. The looks were not at all what they wanted me to like take pictures in, and looking back, it's like absolutely not. Like, the fit of what I was wearing was not right. The pieces that I was picking wasn't right. It didn't say any sort of like brand. It didn't say anything that is even close to the images that they're posting of their top models' work and the portfolio images that they have in their book. It's like nothing was clicking, and I hated that feeling. Man, I just wish somebody could hold my hand, tell me what am I missing? I feel like I'm just kind of annoying them. I'm asking so many questions, and that's also why like I have something in the works right now for girls that are signed, but I've learned the industry from the inside out. There's a difference between being signed and then being a model that's in demand, and then there comes a lot of pressure to prove yourself when it comes to your agencies and your agents sometimes. So because I wasn't producing what I needed to, my agents were like, can you come to LA? You know, we have our photographer out who's going to be out here and we'd love for you to shoot with them. Flew to LA, cost like a couple $1,000s, honestly, between a 24-hour trip for pictures. I think it was like maybe $1,500 spent on styling and pictures. I met the photographer at the mall and he went shopping with me, and then I got these images done. The worst feeling as a model is when you're investing money, especially, or even just time in general, and you do all of that, commute to where you're shooting just to get pictures back and be like, ugh, I'm not really crazy about those. But looking back, I mean, the pictures are beautiful. They did book me a lot, but still did not really showcase my potential and anything close to like the work that I had done and what I knew I was capable of. I was still waiting for work, waiting to get booked, waiting. What I've seen in my career is that models who are based where their agency is based, they're the top models. They're getting the most work. Why? Because you're just there. You only get like 2 days notice on average. Sometimes you'll find out the day before, sometimes the week before. Every model's schedule is just different. There's just so much more of a broad reach for local models than models that are out of state. I got signed December of 2018. It's January, nothing. February, taking pictures, it's not what they want. Okay, March comes around. Okay, what's really happening, you know? Okay, there's a casting call. Can you go to that? Hell yeah, I can go to that. I'm gonna fly out for 24 hours again. So I had finished reading this book called The Universe Has Your Back, which I talk about all the time, how it literally changed my life and was a huge part, the shift that I had, that I really attribute a lot of my modeling success to and my move to LA. My agent reached out to me one weekend in March. And she was like, can you come to LA for 2 weeks to do castings? And I'm like, I'm just gonna move there, because I did the math. 2 weeks in LA between Ubers and a hotel and getting food, because there's no kitchen in a hotel room, at least the ones I was staying at, I might as well take the risk and move. Nothing is happening. I'm not getting booked. Clearly, the missing factor and component here is being where y'all are at, where all this opportunity lies. If you know there is a land where all the brands are located, all of the casting calls, all of the opportunities, all of the agencies and other models, if you think, I'm just gonna stay in my hometown where none of that exists, your environment is crucial to what your reality is. What makes sense? You need to take the risks and take the leap. I know some girls who are signed to top agencies, but they're living in a different city. They have these goals. They're working their regular job. They're not fully taking a risk to emerge themselves, and it's costing them a lot. So I remember this was a Thursday. I told my mom I said, I'm just gonna move to LA. I was like, I'm just gonna get my own space. I'm gonna get a little studio, and I know how much models make. Models make a lot of money. So if I just get one booking, I just had that casting call. Imagine how many other casting calls I'm missing. And even my agent's like, we're gonna like try to get you like castings and something while you're here. So I'm like, well, imagine if I'm there longer. Of course it made sense. So I just took the leap. Maybe that was Thursday with my agent. I told my mom right away. I was just living with my mom at the time. Single mom. That's my bestie. We've gone through so much. But she also would not have any of my modeling success without how supportive she's been. So that was Thursday. Saturday, my whole room is packed up. Okay, all of my stuff went into midnight. You know me and midnight? I told you, me and midnight, that's my girl. That Sunday morning, I had a flight and a one-way ticket to LA. And I knew when I get here, I'm going to leave my luggage, drop it off, but then I need to go find an apartment. I need to go find somewhere to live. Where am I going to live? I don't know. I then tell my family, I just moved to LA. Like, I'm moving to LA. Nothing's happening with modeling, so I'm just gonna take the risk. Everybody was really supportive. I'll put this vlog of what that move really looked like up. I had a casting call. I met another model. We then ended up touring a bunch of places all over LA together. And then this one girl said, check out North Hollywood. And so I remember finding this apartment, and it was the way the sun hit it. After touring at least like 12 places, walking like 10 miles, it was like the sun was on it, like, ah! That was literally my apartment. My mom and my aunt co-signed on my apartment, and I could not have gotten that space without them. Otherwise, I would have lived somewhere that was not to my own bougie standards. And they told me that I could move in that Sunday, a week from when I landed there. April 2nd, I got an email from my agent. She's like, Jessi, congrats on your first booking. It was with Ipsy, this, subscription service brand that gives like makeup and skincare and hair care products. And my sister would always like buy stuff from Ipsy, and she would give it to me, like stuff that she wouldn't use. And it was just such a full circle moment. My first rate was $1,500, like an average day rate for like a new model with 20% agency fee. So you go home with $1,200 that you make in a day. Like, models make the big bucks, like I said. And that was just so exciting. I'll never forget that feeling. And then Fashion Nova booked me after that. They were my second booking, I believe. And I just ended up becoming their main model and working with them consistently. Girls that I'd see on Instagram, now I know them personally. Now we following each other and all this stuff. I made $20,000 my first month as a signed model in LA, which is crazy. My first 8 months as a signed model, I made $100,000. So yes, modeling is a big girl job. It's a real job. You can make real money. It is a real career. When I saw my Fashion Nova pictures come out, it was a sense and a moment of I made it. Like, I made it. I did it. I've arrived. I'm here, and this is only the beginning, but it's gonna get bigger and bigger and bigger. And that's exactly what happened. Even in my first month, I had my first paid travel booking, and I got to work with a brand called Modcloth. I mean, it's so funny, like the difference between like being a Fashion Nova girly and then fitting into Modcloth. Like, the versatility of a model is just so important, to broaden your reach of your bookability. I even got like my first billboard within like the first couple of months there too. It was either like the second or third month that I was there. Things were just happening, and working in LA and even paid traveling opportunities for work has been such an amazing experience. I am my highest self on set. I feel amazing on set, and I had an agent that I was communicating with regularly and who was so excited and driven about this. Like, she had such passion for this. Unfortunately, she ended up leaving the agency after a while, but she's opened her own agency in Australia. It's called Everybody, for any of the Aussie girlies that are out there. What city that's in, I'll have to write that on the screen. And I also have such a huge amount of gratitude for Danny. I can't tell you enough how much they changed my life. They will always hold a special place in my heart, and I can never forget the way that they positively impacted my life. Like, my career blew up, and it is thanks to Nikki, and it's thanks to Danny and Natural Models LA, of course. Modeling gave me a sense of purpose. In the purpose of modeling, was representing for women that looked like me, women that have a little bit of a tummy, that have some arms and thighs and a juicy booty, who look like me, and allowing them to feel seen and make it feel like it's possible for them to do that too. If I can do it, you can do it. And so I've inspired a lot of girls to become models, to believe that they can even have this dream, to take the next step to actually make their dreams happen, to finally love themselves, accept themselves, embrace who they are. And also like sharing my vulnerable truths throughout this whole path of my modeling success, even with this life that looks like so glitz and glam and luxurious, but showing like the real shit that I go through, like the real things, the struggles that I've gone through. I've always kept it real about that. I open up and I'm raw and vulnerable. It's not just, oh, I had a dream, oh, I made the dream happen. Life's great. There are still things that we go through and grow through on our paths. This is just a journey. Having premenstrual dysphoric disorder, PMDD, definitely has made life difficult for me in a lot of ways, which I talk about a lot. If you don't know what PMDD is, here's a description on the screen that you can pause to read. It's not a heavy flow. It's not PCOS. It's just what I go through mentally in my luteal phase of my cycle before the menstrual phase. You know, that's definitely been probably the most challenging thing in my modeling career, is just my mental health, being so isolated. Like when I moved to LA, I didn't have family there. I didn't have any like real friendships, like foundations that I made there. I had some connections with girls and I got to meet some of those girls, but I was very alone in LA. I eventually found some people that I could trust. There's so much more to go into detail about navigating the industry as a signed model. You know, people like to think that it's just this horrible place and this negative experience and everybody's so this and so that, but I believe that life is what you make it. What you put out is what you experience. Yeah, modeling gave me a place in this world and a platform to be seen and recognized by women, and to show them like, sure, this is me, this is my shell, and it makes you feel seen and like you're lovable as you are, absolutely, but to also see like, oh, this is more than a shell. This is a human, a deep soul who has a voice and a lot to share and speak up about life, to stand up for what's right in this world, and causes to stand behind and be a part of, and movements to also stamp your name on. Externally, modeling gave me community, you guys, the people that are a part of my community online, and it's given me the ability to do for others in ways that I've always dreamt of, financially, emotionally, mentally, physically, you name it. Also to bring to fruition the things that I didn't know that modeling could give me. I thought that I had to have luxury and be successful by taking other paths. I thought that there was other things that was the only way that I could get it, that it would require a man, or it would require a path that I didn't want to go down to make this stuff happen. But to see that modeling did this for me is one hell of a reward, and I'm just really, really proud of that and everything that I've accomplished thus far. Thank you for interacting in this video to help boost it. It supports my channel so much when you like, when you comment, when you share it. Let me know down below in the comments any questions that you have, any sort of videos that you want to see. There is a lot of exciting things coming, so thank you for all of your support and your love. Interact with me on socials at Jessi Melani, on TikTok at Jessi Melani _, and at The Model Mindset on all platforms. You can get my free guide down below, or the paid version for the video, which is not that much. It's like a couple of bucks. Can't wait to see you in the next video, and let's see what advice and what model stuff that I'm talking in the next one. Love you. Bye.